Hello everyone, in this section I will introduce multi-page design. It contains 5 parts: introduction to multi-page design function, smooth transition between pages, cross-page component animation, 3D background page, multiple page jumps while passing parameters. Part 1, Introduction to multi-page design function. I'm going to give you a brief demonstration of how to make multi-page. Multi-page supports following operations: new page, copy page, paste page, and delete page. You can paste a page copied from another template in which its components remain unchanged in size. The same time, you can hold down a page and drag it to adjust the page order. Page background supports 5 styles of configuration: none, color, my resource, custom upload, and 3D background. You can also set the preview playback for the template in the page area, page auto switch, page loop playback, show switch button. The buttons are shown by default and can also be hidden. Next, we'll introduce part 2, smooth transition between pages. Smooth transition has 3 effects. The first effect is smooth transition of different component positions. Open the Fine Report Designer and drag a column chart component to the upper left corner of the canvas. At the same time, we create a page and drag the same column chart component to the bottom right corner of the canvas. Set the component names of both to example component. If you want to realize the transition effect from page 1 to page 2, you need to click Transition in page 2 and open Smooth Transition. Click Preview. You can see that the smooth transition is realized for the position of the component. The second effect is smooth transition of different component data. Drag a column chart component in page 1. Create a page, drag in a bar chart component to the same location in page 2. Bind different datasets. And set up a smooth transition effect for page 2 at the same time. Note that you should set the component names of both to example component. Click Preview. You can see that the data has changed, realizing a smooth transition of data. The third effect is smooth transition of different component position and data. Drag a column chart component to the upper left corner of the canvas. Create a page and drag a bar chart component to the bottom right corner of the canvas. Bind different datasets. And set up a smooth transition effect for page 2 at the same time. Don't forget to keep the component names consistent. Click Preview. You can see that the position and data of the component have changed, realizing a smooth transition of the component position and data at the same time. Last but not least, let's learn about the effective mechanism of smooth transition. Page A and Page B are adjacent, or Page A can directly jump to Page B through pagination events, and there are components with identical names on these 2 pages. Enable the Smooth Transition button for Page B to make a smooth transition from Page A to Page B. Similarly, enable the Smooth Transition button for Page A to make a smooth transition from Page B to Page A. Next, we'll introduce Part 3, Cross-Page Component Animation. FVS cross-page component animation specifically refers to the animation effects of components' entrance and exit during page switchover, and you can create some animations similar to those in PPT. For example, in the page jump with parameter demo, we can switch 2 interfaces consecutively, and the component animation realizes a smooth transition. Component animation has 4 effects. The first effect is no animation transition. Drag a column chart component to the upper left corner of the canvas and drag a column chart component to the bottom right corner of the canvas. Click Animation. Here we set all the animations to none. Click Preview to see the no animation switch effect. The second effect is fade in or out. Drag a column chart component to the upper left corner of the canvas and drag a column chart component to the bottom right corner of the canvas. Set the animation of both bar graph components to fade in and fade out. Click Preview. You can see the effect. The third effect is fly from left or right. Drag a column chart component to the upper left corner of the canvas and drag a column chart component to the bottom right corner of the canvas. Set the column chart component animation on page 1 to fly from right and exit to left. Set the column chart component animation on page 2 to fly from left and exit to right. Click Preview to view the effect. The fourth effect is fly from top or bottom. Drag a column chart component on page 1. Drag a column chart component on page 2. Set the animation of the column component in page 1 to fly from top and exit to bottom, and set the column chart component in page 2 to fly from bottom and exit to top. Click Preview to see the effect. We can also select multiple components and combine them to set the combined animation. Click Preview to see the final effect. Last, let's learn about the effective mechanism of component animation. Click the component on the page, click the Animation tab in the configuration bar, click the Animation Setting button, and you can set animations for the component. You can also select multiple components for combination and set the animation for the combination. When you switch from the previous page to the next page, the exit animation of the previous page and the entrance animation of the next page take effect. When you switch from the next page back to the previous page, the exit animation of the previous page and the entrance animation of the next page take effect in reverse. If you set component animation, group animation and smooth transition at the same time, the priority order is smooth transition, group animation, and component animation. Next, we'll introduce Part 4, 3D Background Page. Let's take a look at the sample effect. The target effect is to set the current page effect for each page separately, and the effects do not affect each other. Tap the button to jump to the corresponding page and smoothly switch the viewing angle while displaying the data of that page. It should be noted that the supported version of this function is FVS v2.0.0 and later versions, so you should check your own plugin version. As in the sample effect, there are 3 buttons, namely Overview, Maintenance and Monitoring. When clicking the buttons, the corresponding page will be jumped to, and the information will be displayed while smoothly switching the viewing angle, which is very intuitive and natural. Then, let's learn about 3D background function. The first is function entrance. Open the Fine Report Designer, create a visualization dashboard. To select 3D background as the page background for the first time, you need to click Add 3D Background to open the 3D background setting page. After opening the 3D background setting page, you can switch the canvas page through page or 3D background under the canvas. After that, even if the page background is set to other options, the 3D background page will not be closed. Next, we will introduce the 3D background function in detail. As shown in the example, you can add multiple background pages, and you can add a new 3D component to a background page by dragging it directly into the page, or you can paste one of them copied from a page in a background page. You can also set the background page name. A background page can be applied to multiple pages, while a page supports only one background page. To replace the background page of a page, we can replace it under 3D Background, apply Page Background, or select Other Background Page under Page Background. The last and most important setting is the effect on the current page. We need to set the current page effect for each page separately, and the effects do not affect each other. The viewing angle, model, data, and animation of the 3D component can be referenced from the background page. Before that, we need to set the 3D scene, data layer, and model animation in the background page. Next, we'll introduce Part 5, multiple page jumps while passing parameters. First of all, let's check the example effect. The target effect is, click on the map of the province, jump to the second page at the same time, show the province's information, the first page and the second page of the page switching using the component effect, fly from right and exit to left. As in the example, take Sichuan Province as an example, click Sichuan Province on the map of page 1 to jump to page 2 to display the information of Sichuan Province. When switching pages, page 1 and page 2 fly from right and exit to left. Below is a detailed description of the steps to create a page. The first step is preparation by preparing 2 datasets DS1 and DS2. DS1 is used to create the map on page 1, and DS2 is used to dynamically filter the data on page 2. Here is a demo for you. Open the Fine Report Designer, click the database query, write the given database query statement, click OK to configure the dataset DS1 successfully. Configure dataset DS2 in the same way. Write the given database query statement. Through this query statement, the parameter province is defined. If province is empty or China, the sum data of provinces will be taken out and sorted in descending order according to the profit amount. If province is not empty, then it will take out the input province, take out the corresponding data of each city, and then sort the data in descending order according to the profit amount. Next, we prepare the components. Drag the area map component in page 1. And bind it to dataset DS1. Drag in the column chart in page 2, title, and table components. We will bind the bar chart to the dataset DS2. The second step is passing parameter setting. We need to set the parameters for the map, title, and table of the region, and no additional settings are needed for the column chart. When passing parameters to the map, we need to select the page to be drilled as the trigger object, set the global linkage parameter province, and the area name of the map component when the parameter value is set. Let's show you how to open the designer, select the map component and set its click event. Select page jump, change the event name to jump, select page 2 for the trigger target, write province for the parameter name, write the component field for the parameter type, and write the area name for the parameter content. The main thing we need to do is to add filters to the cell when passing parameters to the table. Go to the editing page of the table, enter the corresponding indicator name and import the corresponding data. Adjust the formatting of the table. We need to set up filter conditions for A2 to C2. Double-click cell A2 to add a new formula. The meaning of this formula is, when the province is empty or China, we will get the province data in DS1 which satisfies the empty province, otherwise we will display the data according to the parameter province. Double-click on the B2 cell. The B2 cell is set to follow the A2 cell to display the data. The C2 cell is set to have its left parent cell as the B2 cell. When you pass a parameter to a header, you need to insert a formula into it. This formula means that when province is empty or China, the header will show the all data. When the parameter province is not empty, the header will show the corresponding province and sales data. Finally, in order to make the switching between pages smoother and more natural, we set up the components animation. Click Preview to see the effect. Tap Jiangsu Province to display the profit amount of each city, as well as the filtered provinces, sales and profit amount. That's all for this section.